And I have fortunate to talk with some of the vendors of SOC. They absolutely, it's like a deer meeting the headlight is the best way. And in fact, I was telling Tom on the back is we just told them that, look, PLDM, DMTF PLDM is absolutely great because it actually removes a lot of ambiguity. They can just simply use it and they can then pretty much give up all their controls, effectors, and sensors. In fact, that really sort of went very well. They want somebody to actually tell them that, but they are very afraid that if OCP comes there with your multi-node design, if that actually says PLDM is not the option, then they are pretty much going back to the books. So that SOC builder is somebody we want to make sure the flexibility, because they are also in an R&D path now, they are not in standardized path. So there are so many variations of the SOC, we just want to make sure we honor it. So in this one, you might see that I put firmware at the end, because ideally that is where firmware should be. So I'm sure this was turned around. The firmware was the beginning and the end user was the end. So what we wanted to change was, this is what you call the bottom-up model. There, the firmware is the beginning and the end user is the end. We are actually changing our paradigm in trying to say that we are trying to do it on the other way around, which is top-down. So we are going to get the solutions to be driven by the end user. Now the question might arise is, how is an open BMC architecture possible? One of the possibilities of doing that is ensuring that each of them, whatever they control, is extremely isolated. So they don't sort of touch each other. So that means they own their area and they evolve their area and they foster their area without actually really getting clashed with others. So that is a model which we have so that end user can evolve. At the same time, platform builder can evolve. And if a standard evolves, it will propagate seamlessly into this all the stack. So where we fit in is, not to actually say this because I didn't have any other place to put it. It's basically, it's not that we are there for everybody. We just say we serve everybody. We recognize that each of these bubbles, they have their own language, their own expectation, their own comfort zones, they have their own wants. And not all of them are identical. Our expectation is to pretty much try to make sure that we collaborate. We are not going to say that you can make a firmware which is firmware heavy, like a solution firmware heavy or an end user heavy. But we do understand that there is a balance which everybody will understand. But recognition that there are 8 bubbles which need to come together is the recognition we are trying to bring to the table. So it's not like one person in this place can come in that, yes, I will write a very good, cheaper BMC. No. I'm going back to Amit's presentation. What Amit talked about cheaper, can any of you identify which bubble needs to be cheaper here? No. There's nothing cheaper. The only guy who is cheaper is this guy. He is the guy who understands the word cheap. Rest of the guys are making money based on R&D. So if you go and tell anybody cheap, the rest of the guys will drop the ball. They will say, okay, you know what, you go with a CPLD, you go with an FPGA, you are going to put a 0.15 micron space, and pretty much all the guys will leave the building. Because from their point of view, you are pretty much undercutting it. So going back to a Nash algorithm type of approach, I would suggest that the way approach we are having is a win-win situation. So all these 8 bubbles need to win in order for a good solution to sustainably available in the market. If even one bubble suffers, the solution is not going to be hitting where it should be hitting. Maybe you will be able to get once, you will be able to do a good job, but it's not going to keep happening again and again. Having said that, we want to actually introduce a way of building. Again, I tried my best on PowerPoint, thanks to Microsoft here for helping me on that. So the model we start, I just want to tell our priority. We believe on a infrastructure which is extremely agnostic. When I say the word agnostic, is it doesn't have, it's in the sense that it is very malleable to go around. So the next one we expect is, when we say an infrastructure, we expect the next in the line priority for us is standards. So currently I have put only 2 standards, but doesn't mean that other standards are not there, just there. And we actually build these abstractions. When I build these abstractions, The word abstraction is nothing but it's not an API abstraction. These abstractions are signals abstraction. So this anything below this abstraction can be understood by a schematic writer. For example, the platform schematic writer. You can take this operating system BSP abstraction, host it in a Linux. You can call it as pthreads, tasks, real-time processes. We don't care. And you can have everything, the rest of it, you can run it on a user mode or kernel mode, or you can run it under ThreadX, FreeRTOS, whichever you're comfortable, because we don't want to actually tie your hand there. This will work pretty much. You need to decide what is your orchestration looks like. The platform design, I use the word design because that layer does not have any firmware ingredients. That is basically, it will tell, hardware platform designer, where is the sensor, what is the sensor name, what I2C address is, so everything will be mapped. And we actually will tailor based on the ADCs, syntax, and everything is tailorable. The chip is, we found, I took a stock of all the chips thanks to MLX, SP, a lot of these people for public domain information. I'm going to say only within public domain information. We are able to find out that the number of transports and chip and functionalities have a lot of ubiquity. We do understand there are things which goes above, but all those abstractions which is created for the chip, a chip designer can actually write it without understanding firmware. The next one is, this is the science. This is the rocket science we all built. So the power management. We do understand power management is a glory detail which everybody can write. We provide a template. We provide a solution also, but you are free to change the solution. We provide a thermal management. We provide a chassis management. We provide a sensor management. One thing I want to say about our sensor management is we are more event driven. We are not sensor driven. So if a customer does not want to see an event, the sensor will not be monitored. As simple as that. So the platform guys is not going to make the call. It's basically the guy, someone else is going to make a call. Again, all this code, including provisioning, is you can change the code. It will fit in. Whatever we are talking about, it will fit in the box. And our idea is, the reason why I put the word platform management there, we don't think so this one size fits all work here. We believe that each and every customer have a different priorities of which is important, which is not. You can remove this block if you don't want, completely. You won't even see a light of the day of the whole system. So you want to see it very building block oriented, so that you don't want to have anything on your system which you don't like, or which you don't think so it will add value to your solution. These three blocks, we are the FDKs. We know that people will have difficulty trying to create these models. It's not that we wanted to come in and say, okay, start engaging yourself and trying to figure it out. So we have a firmware development kits for all of them, all these areas, which you can easily take and sort of tailor it to your needs. And I believe on, by the way, I'm an architect in nature, so I've been trained in some companies which believe on keeping documents. Personally, I have written close to more than 20,000 and 30,000 pages. So I'm a document junkie. So I expect that all these things which are giving is meaningfully documented, and we will stand with anybody who is looking to actually learn it. The idea is not to hand over a document where it is a lemon, but the idea is if the document is not really meeting the needs of the person who is reading it, they'll spend time and actually make sure the message is gone across. The final is, I'm sure you guys are going to ask, how can I make changes to, if I want to add a new IPMI channel, a new IPMI sensor, a new, every extension of command and everything, you're free to add anything you want. So apart from, we would respectfully request you not to touch the open firmware component, but we still actually like the way of differentiating, because we believe that our end customers and the customers, we don't, even though you are saying to, you are standing in OCP and saying that we want a common firmware, I truly believe that each of you are saying that please give me a common base so that I can build my solution on top of it. Definitely there is something which is typical for your solution, which is not going to be available in others. I'm sure, I can tell you guaranteedly within the people I can see here, knowing you from my past lives, definitely your wants are not same. I can tell you. Yes. This is a technology we have put it, which is needed for any computer system, any compute system. We don't have anything called server. The only thing is currently it is applied for server because that is where it is used. In fact, I'm talking with people who are in power domains, PDUs, who actually do use IPMI, APCs. We are also trying to talk to them also. Yes, yes. So this is where we wanted to actually talk about OpenBMC, and I'm going to actually say, because I had a very good discussion, interesting, the word open doesn't mean free. Let's make sure, guys, because everybody at the end of the day is going to make money on the food chain. So I don't expect anybody on the bottom of the food chain to give something for charity, which actually going to make money for somebody upstairs. I don't believe on that type of model, because it's all greed and algorithm everywhere written all over. So it is expected that the only thing what I'm talking about, the $10 which Amir was talking about, I'm not going to say that whether it's $10 is right or $10 or $20, but if we actually bring out a meaningful model for ourselves and the partners like me who are developing BMC firmware, if we can correlate why you are paying $20 for that part, you understand what value it brings, then $20 is worth it. So let's not actually make $5 is better or $25 is better. As long as you have a meaningful line cost to return on investment correlation, then I don't think so cost should be a factor. Someone was telling me from, I think one of the sponsors here, I'm not saying, I just started the first word, but anyway. Oh, I don't mind paying 1 million. I said, no, I don't want, I mind you paying 1 million for nothing. I'm going to make you educated on why you need to pay 1 million. Because the other person who is giving you hard work, the company which is actually spending money and time and R&D on giving you a $1 million solution, really will appreciate why the $1 million you give them. So that means that the next generation you will also come back for the solution. Otherwise, I routed you this time and it's not going to happen next time. So just want to click on an ego trip. Sorry. I looked at Amir and he was such an egoless guy, and then I found out that unfortunately I cannot make any changes to my slides. So just I'm going to say that way. So pretty much, guys, in a sense that I got this pitch. So this is the first time. This is my curtain riser. Thanks to Badadine and Rajiv for giving me the opportunity. So the SRH, the name I came back is because of the acronym which I stated as Scalable, Standard, and Stable Solutions for Hardware Management. So I strongly believe in all these yes, which I have written there. And I want to be a small initiative as a neutral company and neutral voice. And remember, again, my investors at this point of time is actually nobody. I'm actually started it on my own because I don't want to get tainted with this direction or that direction. So our goals is pretty simple. We are looking each and everything we are doing, which is related to the or reducing the operating and expense, provisioning expense. And we came up with this word called RISE, which I still own as a trademark. Is actually it's a requirements, information, collaboration, expectation, and direction-driven solutions. Because these words somehow sort of lost track in the last 10, 15 years. We are trying to bring back those words again. And yes, schedule-driven, because I know that so many data centers today, they want to meet a schedule, say 2015 schedule. They want to actually get 10,000 servers deployed in, say, Q4. Today, they cannot think about a solution available in the market because the solution will take 6 quarters. What we are talking about is changing the pace a little bit, where we are going to create a schedule driven. So if you have a constraint of 2015 Q4, we will work with you to try to find out what is the 2015 Q4 solution should be. And we have ways where we can actually make and take the challenge and deliver it. And we actually strongly feel right to access the source code. So I have started this moment that if I want you to be gullible, then I am going to lose. So I want my customers to be intelligent. They need to be proactive. They need to probe into what we did. They need to ask us questions. So we believe that right to access of any product we did, even though we give you guys, you want only binary license, we will give you guys a source code so that you can actually build trust. So if you want to go through a security review, I'm sure you guys know certificate of origin. You can run it through Protex. You can run it through all your tools. We are not going to watch by ourselves. We're going to say, you believe yourself, because we don't think, because the trust has lost. So for some reason, we are trying to build the trust again. And last one, as I said, it's a top-down, and all our code is a clean room code. We actually write everything from scratch. No internet access, not even copy routines are copied. So we actually, I wouldn't say take pride, but we want to make sure that you guys don't get hurt by taking the source from us. And the thing which we wanted to give you is, we have 3 products, so we have 4 products. I believe people who want free, we give free. But the only thing is you cannot sell it. That means it is a GPL v3 license. The whole source is available as free software for anybody to download, evaluate, look at it, play with it. And that free is actually meant for non-commercial use. And we are planning to support all universities, because look around, guys, I can tell you, all of us are pretty much 35 plus. And I really want to, by the way, few exceptions remain. Okay, so thank you for that. So, but again, I'm looking for people who are coming from college or people who are in schools who want to actually take it as an academic problem and solve it, because some of the things cannot be solved in corporate life, and we don't have time for it. So our expectation is, I do understand that there are certain universities who are looking at actually cloud management. They are looking at solving some very different, like Hadoop or big data type of problem by taking heuristics of temperature data and other things. I know that they will be very happy that if they can actually take a BMC from somebody and actually try to create their own source and try to do actually experiments. So that is the reason we do free, but it is also used for evaluation. So this is going to be released on Q2 of this year. And we have an open BMC firmware suite. Basically, the open BMC firmware suite, we are giving it to people who actually have an engineering workforce, but we don't, by the way, our idea is not to remove your engineering workforce. That's something. We are not going to say that we are the smartest guys in the planet. We feel that the rest of the people are much more smarter. The only thing is, don't waste time. Your smartness, don't waste your smartness on standards which are already written and well publicized. Spend it on times which is your value proposition. So we will train them, we will work with them, we will educate them and bring them up to speed and give it to them so that they can create their own solutions. And finally, that is called RISE solution. If anybody says, I don't have an engineering workforce, but I need this on this time, this is a data-driven model. We are not firmware-driven. So the data is going to be your intellectual property. The firmware is constant. So that means sub-3-quarter solutions can be derived by RISE. So it is, by the way, I can take you guys through it. We have pamphlets about our company. We have all information about this. And finally, I just added it because for the vim of it, I am coming to OCP. So we do provide custom multi-node management solutions. The word custom is, again, my strength and strong space of working in multi-node. I still think it's a pretty virgin space yet. There's a lot of innovation still yet to be done. And I'm sure that whatever OCP comes up with, one model out of that. So I completely recognize that. And that is why we do it. And finally, to answer some gentleman's question, we also provide standard hardware management for any compute system. Because we don't believe hardware management, system management is created only for server. It is supposed to be created for anybody. And whatever model we have, it can be actually, you can scale it up to anything. And I don't think that the rest of them, the one thing which I wanted to give you guys is this is something new. Most of our engineers in your team stopped talking. They are actually implementing. We are going to teach them how to brainstorm. The knowns and the unknowns are getting into a serious problem. The engineers' unknowns should not be considered as the product unknowns. We are going to help you guys to try to cement that gap. We will work with you as a moderator so that your company's unknowns, by the way, all this thing is under heavy NDA, so no data will go up. None of your ignorance is going to be sort of washed in public. But at the same time, we feel that the ignorance factor needs to be acknowledged. And if it is acknowledged through your engineers, we believe that most of your problems will solve by itself. Because one of the proud moments of most of our engineers is they don't want to say, I don't know. And I have no problem. That is why we say, instead of going and say, do you know it or not, we are talking about cultivating the style of brainstorming so that the brainstorming will lead to a much more collaborative result for the company and the solution. That's all I have, guys. And again, I will be here for 2 days now. And I will be here Tuesday and Wednesday. And once again, this is the last statement I want to leave you guys with. I had so much of confidence in this industry that I left my day job. Okay? So I'm telling you, I can only thank a lot of people who helped me to sort of make the decision. I'm not going to sort of, I have never believed that this is a bad decision. In fact, I spent most of the time for 5 months. Instead of coming back as a firmware guy, I want to come back to you guys as a solutions guy. Because I don't believe on giving you a firmware. Because there are a lot of people who can do it. My idea is, whatever the 10 years I learned on this industry, I can still say that I'm going to make a statement. Thanks to Tom. IPMI is the best spec I have read. I have worked through. I have seen it's extremely comprehensive. If you can give me, I can make the whole IPMI specs, fold it in 40 pages. Actually, it actually relates each other. But if you read it as a pages on pages, it will be nothing much more than an API document. But the IPMI totally, if people understand the essence of it, it's not that complex. But if people understood that IPMI, understanding PLDM, DMTF, MCTP, all these things absolutely make sense. The reason why I'm telling it is, let's not throw what we actually conquered already. And the only thing we will end up is trying to start a fire once again. And I don't think so we want to be there. Thanks for the opportunity, and I'll be here. Anybody who's interested to talk to us and help us out and try to give us a break, please do. Thank you very much.
Yeah, we're out of time, but we'll allow a couple of questions. We'll have brief questions answered. Questions?
Either it comes two ways. Either there's too much info.
Okay. All right. So
thanks.
Harry is here for the next 2 days, so feel free to ask him directly. The next is multi-node management. Harry kind of alluded to. Brian, you're next. So let me give a brief before Brian starts. So the multi-node stack has been really evolving slowly, I may admit. And there are reasons for that. New area, lots of new ideas. It's really hard to reach a consensus. So you may not see it, but behind the scenes, there are lots of discussions, and I can't do it this way. No, I can't do it this way. And that's taking a long time. What we want, the OCP and Microsoft and all companies, what we want, and I mentioned it in the morning session, we want really one stack, and we want full interoperability between blades. So as mean so if you look at multi-node, there is a notion of a spine or a chassis and nodes, or what they call blades or nodes. What we want to make any blade and any spine, and you plug them together, and they should work. Now, in the hardware committee, they made great strides in making sure at the hardware level they are compatible. The problem is getting the software there, and that's why it's taking longer time. And we rather, in my opinion, and I hope you share the same opinion, I rather take my time to get it right and get everybody on the same page and get a consensus. That's the way
scenario or work pattern. And SI, PI, also environmental and mechanical testing. And if possible, we also run some user scenario testing. And we also have our performance testing because in the specification, we also have some numbers for the performance. Right side is, I think it's a kind of a customer environment where our customers are using SSD.